This next clip shows something interesting from a remote flying community in northern Ontario, about 350 kilometers north of Thunder Bay. Locals there keep spotting two Bigfoot creatures, a larger one and a smaller one. Sightings have increased lately, especially around areas like Thomas Bridge and Pioneer Ridge. One local shared a video showing clear tracks in hard-packed sand heading into a marshy forest. The tracks are about 14 to 15 inches long, clearly larger and wider than human footprints, and get this, a massive 5-foot stride. And now a lot of people in this area are saying that, yeah, this isn't uncommon. Witnesses are saying that these sightings usually happen in the spring and summer, almost like the creatures migrate to the area during those seasons. Just a few nights ago, campers at Pioneer Ridge even reported eerie cries coming from the woods. People from the community, including a local named Isabel, spotted something tall, around 6 to 8 feet, standing near their powwow grounds. Initially, the group thought that their eyes were playing tricks on them, but multiple other witnesses confirmed seeing the same thing in different areas. Now, if you've ever been to northern Ontario, it is pretty isolated. And honestly, I don't think it would surprise any of us if there's actually a really big Sasquatch population hiding out there. Let me know what you think about this. Do we think this could be solid evidence of Bigfoot activity? Okay, this nighttime security footage from Turkey is freaking creepy. Off to the left of our screen, the camera captures a small humanoid figure just wandering alone. And yeah, at first glance, it resembles a child. Maybe even smaller, possibly like a toddler newborn. And while of course that's weird, the truly unexplainable moment? This thing suddenly steps off the ground and floats into the sky. It disappears off screen, then returns, landing and continuing its path across the street. Some viewers claim that they can tell that this is a camera glitch or some type of digital manipulation. Maybe. Others believe it could be authentic footage of something supernatural. I'll say this. The smooth transition from walking to flying is pretty difficult to explain. And if we consider the cultural context, Turkey sits at the crossroads of ancient civilizations with rich folklore traditions. Some theorists suggest that this could be a jinn from Islamic mythology, supernatural beings that can appear in various forms. Others point to fairy legends that exist across many cultures. The real problem is the CCTV footage complicates the analysis. It's definitely making identification more challenging. Anyhow, drop your theories below. Camera malfunction, hoax, evidence of supernatural entities. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Video from a stewardess on an Alaskan Airlines flight shows something absolutely insane. A passenger pulls open the door. And immediately puts everyone on the flight in danger. You gotta be a special kind of stupid. The pilot was able to land the plane safely, and eventually the panic subsided. While the man claims it was a mistake, he was promptly arrested, as he should be, as soon as he walked off the plane. He's facing quite the jail sentence should he be convicted, up to 10 years in prison. Honestly, he shouldn't be able to fly again either. If it was malicious, well, give him some very serious consequences. If he's just a bonehead, well, maybe he should never fly again. A vacationer to England got quite the surprise on the taxi ride from the airport. Stuck in a small traffic jam, the unthinkable happens. The driver of this truck misjudged the clearance and smashed right into the overpass. Miraculously, no one was hurt, but a pretty good scare, I would imagine, and quite the welcome to a different country. Okay, pretty crazy story here out of Florida. A veteran Bigfoot researcher is being hounded by a guy. Calls, emails, The researcher has no idea what this guy wants. Well, he eventually sends the pictures. The man in possession of the pictures agrees to meet the researcher in Florida, where these supposed pictures were taken. At the last minute, the man cancels, and proceeds to do that 3 more times upon them having made reservations to meet each other. The researcher's spidey senses perk up and take a deeper look at the pictures. Out of the blue, he remembers an event from a few years ago. A book signing he was doing in his home state, when out of nowhere, a man in a Bigfoot costume rushed the table. It was quite the ruckus. Of course, it scared the crap out of a lot of people. Other people loved it. Some snapped some pictures. But this researcher thinks that this could be the guy that did that. The guy that rushed the book signing might be the guy that's sending in these pictures. He overlays the pictures side by side, and it does look like a pretty good match. He's convinced now that the guy's just yanking his chain. This is a pretty funny Bigfoot costume. Look at the part where it attaches to the gloves. Of course, we need more information, but what do you guys think about this? Would you trust the guy, or do you think that this looks pretty close to that picture? We start in Lee County, South Carolina. Sheriff's deputies respond to what they think is vandalism. What they find is something else entirely. A car literally torn apart, motor wires ripped out, hood ornament snapped off, and the fenders? Actually bite marks in solid metal. The scene tells a disturbing story. Reddish hair scattered around. Strange muddy footprints circling the vehicle. Not your typical vandals. Not your average wildlife. Some locals blame teenagers. Others suggested bears. But what teenager or bear bites through automotive metal? Well, I'm not buying either explanation. Witness accounts flood in. Locals describing a 7-foot-tall greenish-brown creature stalking the back roads. They named it Lizard Man. Reports claim it ran at highway speeds, attacked multiple vehicles, terrified residents. The investigation leads to Scape Ore Swamp. Massive 3-toed footprints discovered in the mud. Local biologists examined them and came back with a verdict: unclassifiable. The footprints matched no known species. Some experts suggested that they were an unknown reptilian species, but they were far too big. We have the skeptics, and they are claiming that this is an elaborate hoax, but these prints remain unexplainable to this day. Footage from YouTube user Encounters26, it's grainy, but a tall figure moving with impossible speed along the swamp edge. The unnatural gait, the proportions. Could this be actual documentation of whatever mangled the car and left those prints? Are we supposed to believe dozens of witnesses all hallucinated the same creature? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on the Lizard Man. In rural Kentucky, a notorious railroad bridge spanning Pope Lick Creek. For decades, locals have whispered about what lurks here. A terrifying half-man, half-beast mutant with hypnotic powers. Not your average cryptid. This one doesn't just attack, it lures victims onto the tracks to be struck by speeding trains. What the... Let's focus on the descriptions from eyewitnesses. Some claim it's goat-like with human features. Others describe it as more demonic. The hypnotic ability? That's what separates this entity from other cryptids. What kind of creature could possess the power to override human survival instincts? The most chilling aspect is that this legend kills whether the monster exists or not. In 2013, a couple visited the bridge, attempting to recreate a scene from a film about the Pope Lick monster. The woman died, struck by a speeding train. Her husband ultimately survived, but the damage was done. The legend had claimed another real victim, without the creature even showing itself. This raises the disturbing questions about the power of folklore. Could the collective belief in the Pope Lick monster create something more dangerous than any physical beast? What if the real monster is our fascination with the forbidden? The railroad company has erected fences and warning signs, but trespassers continue to risk their lives. Some seeking thrills, others hoping to prove or disprove the legend's truth. As for now, it appears that sometimes the deadliest legends are the ones that make us forget real-world dangers. Let's head to a sewer in France. A group of friends hear strange noises coming from their local sewer. They grab cameras, head to the entrance, and there you go. Something shows itself. Not even a known animal. This thing pokes its head out like it's studying them. The moves feel calculated and deliberate. Something perhaps smarter than a typical animal. Some viewers that have seen the clip are calling it a deformed animal. Others say it's an entirely new species. If we focus on the features, the head shape, the eyes, nothing really matches known urban wildlife. Some say this could be evolution happening right beneath our streets. What if decades of isolation, chemicals, and human waste have created something entirely new in these underground worlds? I guess you can't completely write that off. And if this exists under one city, how many more could be lurking worldwide? How many strange noises from storm drains aren't just water pipes? A mysterious UFO-looking disc spotted on Google Maps has triggered chilling theories. The white object, discovered in the mountainous region of New Mexico, about 34 miles from Sevalita National Refuge. Google Maps are showing a metallic-looking top on the disc. Part of it is obscured by surrounding vegetation. The remote setting adds to the intrigue. No roads, paths, or homes are nearby. A Twitter account dedicated to ufology shared screenshots, prompting speculation that it's a crashed UFO. Several Redditors chimed in, noting the area's lack of water sources and private land ownership, making the structure's existence even more puzzling. Early Google Maps snapshots from 1996 show no sign of the disk or any connecting path. A YouTuber known as Michael, or the Earth Watchman, measured the object at around 30 feet in diameter, suggesting it might have become half buried after a crash landing. Meanwhile, the Metabunk website proposed a more mundane explanation. Their research found a 1975 photo of what appears to be a small structure with a pathway leading to it, a possible rainwater catchment rather than any extraterrestrial craft. The theory is that the original structure was removed, replaced, or changed over time, explaining the current disc-like image on Google Maps. Well, that's not nearly as exciting as a UFO. What do you guys think? This next peculiar footage comes to us from a woman named Colleen, courtesy of the website Sasquatch Chronicles. Colleen stumbled upon this video on the internet, which intriguingly was filmed by two teenage girls from her own hometown during a work break. On the way to get lunch, the two girls passed by a local cemetery. It wasn't long before they spotted something extraordinary. After several minutes of observing in stunned silence, one of the girls had the presence of mind to start recording the baffling spectacle. The video reveals a dark figure engrossed in fervently digging into the graveyard soil, using nothing but its bare hands, akin to a wild animal. The intensity of the digging was startling. Upon viewing the girl's video, Colleen felt compelled to visit the cemetery herself. When she arrived, she discovered a fresh hole in the ground, evidence of the recent excavation. However, the mysterious figure responsible for the hasty digging had vanished, perhaps much to Colleen's relief. So, what was captured on this unsettling video? A cryptid caught in action in the graveyard? Or simply a deeply troubled individual performing a morbid task? I'll leave the interpretation to you. Picture yourself adventuring through a forest, only to come to an abrupt halt at the sight of an unexpected scene. A majestic buck stands before you, showcasing an authoritative display that is as startling as it is captivating. This imposing creature pounds its hooves into the earth, broadcasting a warning. Accompanied by a powerful snort, each outburst seems to echo a bold declaration into the surrounding wilderness. Witnessing this display on screen is already enough to send shivers down your spine. The thought of standing mere feet away from it in reality is almost unimaginable. Yet, in the grand scheme of nature's intricacies, we can't fault the buck for its behavior. This show of might and determination is simply the creature's instinctual fight or flight reaction, triggered when it perceives a threat. After all, every creature, even a seemingly formidable buck, has its own way of dealing with potential danger. Let us now dive into a mystery. We bring you an intriguing spectacle, set within the serene backdrop of a river, concealed amidst a mountainous terrain. Captured on camera is a mysterious furry creature. Seen from the back, it stands half submerged in the water, its torso boldly protruding above the surface. Considering the river's depth, reportedly 5 to 6 feet, the creature's impressive height can't be understated. The intriguing possibility proposed by the person who shared this footage with us is that this may very well be Bigfoot. Given the visuals before us, it's a tough suggestion to just dismiss. What adds weight to this theory is the recounting of local lore. This area has had its share of Bigfoot sightings. The figure you see on your screens could be another addition to this cryptid chronicle. But here's a twist. As much as we're intrigued by the idea of a real-life Bigfoot encounter, we can't ignore the unusual physique of this creature. It's notably leaner and more slender than the typical descriptions associated with Bigfoot. So, are we genuinely staring at Bigfoot, perhaps a female? Or could this just be an intricate hoax, a well-crafted plot designed to create a buzz? We're eager to hear your take on this compelling mystery. Drop a comment and let your theory be the one that unravels this enigma. The following footage is truly remarkable. A gentleman found himself capturing what at first seemed to be a monkey while filming in a wooded area. However, the situation quickly escalated into something far more chilling. The creature, which initially appeared to be a common primate, abruptly noticed the man and pursued him with alarming determination. The distress and motion of the chase made the footage a little shaky, making it challenging to capture the creature clearly. One thing is certain though, this was no ordinary monkey. The entity moved with an uncanny agility on all fours, its legs exhibiting an almost human-like structure, yet not fully upright. The man's terrified reactions underscore the terror elicited by this creature. This gentleman has been making efforts to have the footage authenticated by experts, but he claims they are too frightened to visit his property. Whether this assertion is true, we cannot confirm. Speculation abounds. Could this be the infamous Dogman, said to stealthily inhabit these woods poised to ambush unsuspecting prey? Might this be another sighting of the legendary Bigfoot? Or is it merely an amplified tale of an ordinary ape encounter? I'd love to know what you think about this intriguing encounter. Let me know. You know, I think I might have been more surprised about our next clip than I was when I saw my first cryptid encounter. This is crazy. A Bengali man is seen walking through a field with some fishing poles, likely heading to a fishing spot. All of a sudden he stops, in the middle of the field. And yep, he's about to wet a line. He crushes up a snail for bait, breaking up the hard shell to get to the meat and baits the hook. He has put together some makeshift rod holders that he hammers into the mud. It looks like he has taken the top half of a normal lightweight rod, strung it up with line and a hook, and drops it into a sinkhole of some sort in a field. I mean, what is going on here? Is this field on top of a body of water? Myself and everyone in the comments are very confused. After a few minutes, he hooks a catfish. You can see the rod bending over. Here is where my first bit of skepticism creeps in. That doesn't look like how a rod reacts when a fish hits it. Catfish do fight a little differently, but this seems like just pulling, and he's mighty calm when that rod dips down like that. Nevertheless, moments later, he pulls a decent-sized catfish out of the hole in this field, and just like that, he's hooked another. Now, I do have a few questions first. How does he know where to drop his line? Why does no one ever fall in one of these holes, never to be heard from again? I need some more info on this. Has anyone seen this before? Is this real, or is there someone off camera pulling the line and attaching a fish? Please let me know what you all think of this. Let's dive into an eerie visual journey that has been captured on camera. It's a video showcasing a woman entranced in a sleepwalking episode, her unconscious state resulting in an array of bizarre actions. The scene opens with her navigating her house in deep throes of sleep. The seemingly ordinary situation takes an unsettling turn when she ventures into the kitchen. There, she begins to toss items from the refrigerator, as if searching for something unseen to our eyes. However, it's the incident with a glass that sends shivers down our spines. She places a glass on the counter, which inexplicably shatters into countless fragments, as though a phantom force exerted its influence. If this was staged with special effects, the execution is beyond impressive. The sleepwalker then embarks on her journey up the staircase, her movements eerily akin to someone possessed by a malevolent spirit. Her actions grow even more peculiar as she consumes toilet paper, and seemingly in response, the carpet behind her stirs of its own accord. The climax of her nocturnal odyssey finds her in another woman's room. Standing eerily still by the sleeping woman for an extended period, she then rouses the woman with a gentle touch, and the sleepwalker is awakened, and the recording ends abruptly. The entire event was captured on a home security camera, adding a raw, uncensored authenticity to it. Yet, one can't help but feel that the happenings seem a tad exaggerated for a simple case of sleepwalking. What's your take on this? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Dylan Anderson was spending time in a friend's backyard, which conveniently borders an animal preserve in Iowa State, encompassing a thickly wooded forest. Out of the shadows, peculiar noises start to resonate, prompting Dylan to start recording the unusual sounds.
So I'm up at the ridge line right now, about where the fence is at, and so behind this fence over here, there's a wood line. It's about 9:48 in the night. So we just heard it scream a little bit ago. I don't know if you could see past this, but so behind this, where I'm pointing right now, there's a forest back there, and that's a pretty big forest. It's a state park. So there's nothing that's back there, and it's protected. So I don't know, but we're back here, and there's this fence right here that protects my friend's yard, where we're at right now. And from that, I don't know what you'd call this, but there's a pasture right here with a bunch of trees. You can't really see them. I don't know if you can see that tree or not. You see that tree right there, that fern, right there? That's a fern, and then there's a bunch of other ferns all around. And it gets more dense as you go back. But what happens is this creature comes up against this fence, and it jumps this fence. And it was standing, we think, right in this where I'm standing right now. And my friend's inside right now, but I'm getting this footage. And did you just hear that? That was it. Oh. Guess I'm out.
The question now is, did Dylan manage to capture the haunting cry of a legendary skinwalker or some other cryptid on his recording? Or could it have been some strange animal concealed in the woodland? Could the video be a fabrication? Or does it bear authentic evidence of an unusual creature? One point worth noting is an odd light visible among the trees in the footage. This peculiar illumination appears to descend to the ground synchronously with the eerie howl.
And did you hear that?
Some viewers on YouTube have proposed that this might resemble a bizarre glowing eye. But what's your take on this? We welcome your theories and interpretations. Project Amber is a popular YouTube channel that features the fascinating travel adventures of a British man named CJ and his canine companion, Lance. Primarily, CJ explores unusual and isolated locations across Europe, setting up camp in his van for several nights at a stretch. Now, an important aspect of this channel to note is that it is not a paranormal channel at all. This channel is a travel channel only. However, there's one particular video that stands out from the rest. While camping in an exceedingly remote part of the French countryside, CJ is engaged in a routine repair of his camper's fridge. Suddenly, his dog Lance, who's off camera at the moment, starts behaving oddly.
Right. Now I'm sure with house fridges you're supposed to... No. Right, so I'm pretty sure with a house fridge, if you move it, you're supposed to leave it like 12 or 24 hours though. I'm going to give it the full 24 hours, I think, to... What are you looking at? You keep freaking me out, dog. There's no one over there. Are you seeing something I'm not?
CJ takes a moment to explain why Lance's actions are beginning to unnerve him. And at this moment, I can tell CJ is really freaked out.
A well, just where I'm parked, you go down this little track, and there's a well with a big metal bar on it. And originally I was going to go and park there, and I saw the well. Instantly started thinking about the ring, which when I was about, I think it was about 10 when it came out, scared the shit out of me. For like a month I didn't sleep properly. And now the dog keeps looking over in that direction of where it is. So I'm like, nah mate, I might move. But I can't.
As dusk descends, the situation becomes progressively weirder.
Okay, I'm seriously freaked out now. A minute ago I could hear like really loud moaning, like just booming across the mountains. So I've come down to where I could hear it. I got to this old well and it stopped. I mean, that thing's wild freaky. It's like something out of the Ring. But just as soon as I got here, just from over there's no track or anything, it's just wood. This girl appeared, dressed like kind of like a monk, no shoes, and no hair. So I said bonjour and that, and she responded. I asked if she was okay, but she didn't respond then. She just carried on walking. So I carried on a bit and then thought I better double check. Went to go and find her again. She's gone. So up that way, that's where my van is, and that goes to the road. But down where she went that way, there's nothing, and there's nothing for miles. Where did she go? I'm gonna leave.
CJ explains that Lance, who usually joyfully greets newcomers, refuses to approach the peculiar bald girl. This is quite unusual for the friendly spaniel, making the girl's presence even more unsettling. Later on, CJ catches sight of the girl once more. This time, he manages to capture her on video as she aimlessly meanders through the remote woodland. CJ also mentions that he spotted the girl again later, but was unable to record the encounter.
I saw the girl another 2 times. The last time I was near the van and she was running through the forest.
Finally, CJ decides he's had enough of the unsettling experience. He quickly packs up and departs from the strange area. So the question arises, did CJ have a paranormal encounter with a ghost while in the isolated French countryside? We invite your interpretations and thoughts on this incident. Sebastian Acosta, a resident of Miami, Florida, began hearing unusual sounds around his new house. However, he didn't pay much heed, attributing them to some small wildlife. Shortly after moving in, he filmed a video to showcase his new residence to his parents. On reviewing the footage, he discovered something utterly unexpected. According to Central and South American folklore, the creature he captured on camera closely resembles what is known as duende. translating to a goblin or troll in English. Sebastian Acosta's story gained so much traction that it was featured on Telemundo News. The question remains, did he capture an elusive creature on camera, or could it be an elaborate hoax? Alternatively, it could simply be a peculiar-looking animal scurrying along a tree branch. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this uncanny footage. In the chilling weeks of January 2017, during the stillness of the night, an attentive security officer captured something extraordinary on his surveillance camera. The gentleman, who had observed numerous puzzling occurrences during his late-night shifts, was taken aback by the spectacle he now faced. In the grainy footage, a mysterious luminous object smoothly drifted towards the camera. It radiated an eerie light that seemed to challenge the known laws of nature before disappearing out of the frame. Perplexed by the sighting, the man decided to share the footage online, reaching out to the paranormal community for insight. Several theories emerged, with some suggesting the presence of a spirit orb, thought to be a carrier for ethereal beings and apparitions. Others proposed that the glowing entity could be holding ancient energies, or even levitating creatures from dimensions beyond our understanding. As for my personal interpretation, I can't help but entertain the idea that it might be an interstellar traveler or extraterrestrial spacecraft, silently navigating our world. It could be on a journey to a destination that remains a mystery to us. Please tell me your thoughts and theories on this fascinating phenomenon. Let's delve into a curious piece of footage that's made waves across social media. More specifically on TikTok. This video swiftly captured the attention of netizens worldwide, gaining viral status within mere hours of its posting. The spectacle that has everyone talking involves a bird that appears to be suspended motionless in midair. Remarkably, this bird doesn't seem to be exerting any force, nor are its wings visibly flapping to maintain its suspended state. Upon closer inspection, however, a slight fluttering can be discerned in the bird's wings. It's subtle, yet not quite enough to facilitate the act of flying. What cements the authenticity of this phenomenon is the camera person's decision to pan towards onlookers. They too are marveling at the spectacle, a collective witness to this seemingly defy nature event, providing credible evidence that this video is far from a deceitful hoax. But what could explain this avian anomaly? What forces might be at play that allow the bird to hang in the balance, defying our conventional understanding of flight? As we attempt to unravel this enigma, we eagerly await your perspectives and theories. Join us in deciphering this feathered mystery. Let's move on to our next piece of Trailcam footage. It shows a surprising drama, a real-life survival story out in the wild, with a group of raccoons taking center stage. The action takes place around a watering hole, where the raccoons are quietly drinking. Suddenly, the calm moment is broken when one sharp-eyed raccoon spots a snake sneaking up on them from behind a tree, its intent clear in its cold gaze. That's where things get really interesting, as the hunted quickly become the hunters. It may surprise you to learn that raccoons, despite being known for their intelligence, are also quite capable of handling snakes. Showing great teamwork, the raccoons group up around the snake, blocking its path to escape. Then one bold raccoon steps forward and grabs the snake with its strong claws. Then comes the finale. Using their teeth, which are sharp and strong enough to tear through metal like it's soft chicken, they rip into the snake, quickly overcoming their unanticipated foe. After this intense confrontation, the raccoons settle down to enjoy a good chew on their well-deserved meal. In the frigid grip of winter, an eagle was observed soaring high above a starkly frozen lake. For an extended period, it meticulously scanned the icy landscape beneath it. eyeing a congregation of ducks that had found refuge on the lake's frosty surface. Within this unsuspecting flock, the eagle sought out its prey, its keen eyes assessing each potential target. Once its selection process was complete and the designated target determined, the formidable raptor initiated its calculated assault. In a spectacular display of predatory prowess, the eagle, at breakneck speed, descended upon the hapless duck. The eagle's talons, sharp and lethal, plunged into its victim, their grip unyielding, anchoring the duck beneath the water's frigid surface. Methodically and without haste, the eagle began the laborious task of towing its prize to the shore. With each determined flap of its mighty wings, it propelled itself across the water, a spectacle of strength and endurance in the harsh winter environment. What transpired next was a spectacle as unexpected as it was extraordinary. It evolved into a thrilling clash of titans, an epic face-off between two formidable adversaries, each determined to claim their stake in this merciless game of survival. This chilling drama of nature's food chain played out against the stark backdrop of the frozen landscape.